I started writing a novel. Hey there, welcome back to Writer's Theory and this series of me drafting a novel day by day and recording those efforts. Again, I'm writing a Western following a course that I created this year on writing a novel using AI as a tool for outlining and planning. Of course, I'm doing all the writing, um, but I did use AI to help me create an outline and understand the genre that I'm working in and get to know a group of characters. And really, I'm starting at zero. Like, I have zero idea about what type of story I want to write. I know I wanted to write a Western. I have some ideas about what Westerns are in my head, namely from movies. Um, I my experience reading westerns really just comes from Cormac McCarthy. So that's the wealth of information I have right now. So it's not very deep. So I don't have. I'm starting at kind of zero in terms of a story. And so with the aid of ChatGPT and the course that I'm using, I'm able to come up with an outline. I've got some characters. I have a basic story that I can start with. I can start writing this, um, and it's gonna probably feel a little clunky at first, and then it develops as I write and as I go along. So in this first day of writing, I'm starting at nothing. Like, I can only rely on the things that I know about westerns and then about what I've been given for a material to write. So that brings me to what is this thing that I'm writing? Well, it's a prescriptive novel. So a prescriptive novel is it's basically a novel writing exercise in which you are presented with material to write. So if I want to write a novel like a Western and I don't know where to start, I don't have characters, I don't even really have a plot, I don't really have anything except that I kind of like Westerns. Well, I can write a novel this way. It can still be a very unique story, and um, I have everything I need to at least get started um, from a story standpoint, from an outline standpoint, and a summary of what I need to do. So that's where I started here. I didn't have a lot to work with in terms of my own planning, so I spent a lot of time familiarizing myself with the outline that I generated, and and then I had to rely on my own um, experiences watching Western movies, what I've read in books, and what I imagine things to look like. So the beginning of it, of these especially these types of exercises where I haven't had much thought, is it's going to be just a little cliched because I'm relying on what I've already seen in other stories, and this is okay. This gives me a place to move. I just want to get in front of my keyboard, and I want to build this habit of writing every day. And so if I'm going to, like, there's going to be a shoot off, right? Like, well, probably, and there's going to be some horses and, and a standoff and all the things that we associate with a Western um, are going to help me write this initially. So that's what I'm going to do. That's what I do here today. I did use a starter here. This is something that I'm going to rewrite later that is AI generated, but it's like I can like read 4 or 5 sentences of a story and then I just carry on writing the rest. So here is the first portion of the very first words in the novel that I'm writing. Enjoy. So that's how I started. And again, this time I'm really leaning heavily on the cliches and the conventions of what a Western is to start to see these characters and like what are they trying to achieve in this moment, and what would this type of like there's a gunfight here, or at least they're hunting this man, and so what would that look like? What is he trying to achieve in this moment? And his name is Cole Mercer, um, and it was one of the things that we saw immediately is like the bot wants to create a lot of exposition initially. They want to call him Cole the Ghost Mercer, and you're supposed to be intrigued by that. Well, I don't necessarily like that. I would like the characters to just kind of be seen. They're going to do what they're going to do, and then their backgrounds and nicknames and things like that should come through the interactions and the actions that they take as we see the story go along. So the name means more. It's not just nicknames initially. So that's some things that I changed. But I am still very heavily relying on material that I kind of have in the back of my head from what I've seen already. And that's okay right now because I'm getting in front of my keyboard. I'm writing every day. And I can always come back and change it later. Like, this isn't a final draft. This is not what I'm going to publish. This is just the beginning of writing a novel. So let's watch the last part of today's writing. And so there you have it. And with each day's writing, I'm going to pick out a line that I think is impactful. Like, what's the line of the day is what I'm calling it. So this is something that I wrote that I'm like, huh, did I write that? So here's the line for today. The shots coming down on him slowed, and a whistle sounded above him and echoed across the open space. So very descriptive sentence there. And it's not like the coolest thing I've ever written for sure. And again, we're just starting this project. But there you have it. There's our line for the day. And so that's the first day of writing. The first words of a project are very special. And I'm pleased with this effort. It's enough to carry on into the next day. I'm really looking forward to getting to know these characters because it's all going to happen right in front of me. Like, I really don't know how everything's going to go with these characters. I have my outline, but I just know from my own experience that things are going to change. And what's cool about it is that these characters are going to show it to me. Which, how cool is that? It's almost like I'm observing the story as I'm writing it. Like this is a new form of storytelling, writing a story that's never existed. Pretty cool stuff. Super stoked to get on to tomorrow's writing. So I'm also curious about how your projects have gone when you started to write something of length. Like, when you started to write a novel, how did that go? Or if you're struggling to write a novel and can't get in front of your keyboard, like you can tell me about that too. Feel free to leave a comment below. But ultimately, I'm really pleased with how this effort has gone, and I can't wait to get back to it. So tomorrow, we're going to get to know Mercer a little bit better. I don't know how he's going to get out of this situation. So we're going to see that take place tomorrow. If you enjoyed this and you want to be notified when I release these videos and see how this journey goes for me and for the characters that are happening here, like and subscribe and get those notifications. So I'll see you tomorrow.